The breaking point. Ambassador Elena Reyes stood at the vast window of Earth's embassy on Nexus Station, watching the swirl of ships arriving for what would likely be her final council session. After serving for 12 years as humanity's voice to the stars, she felt strangely calm about what was to come. The decision had been made. There was no turning back now. "Madam Ambassador, the council convenes in 20 minutes, said Kai, her assistant, tablet in hand. The Viridian delegation has requested a last-minute meeting. Elena smiled faintly. Too late for that, I'm afraid. Is everything prepared? Yes, ma'am. All human diplomatic personnel throughout council space have received the alert. They're ready to move on your signal. Elena straightened her midnight blue uniform, the silver Earth emblem seeming heavier on her shoulder today. The weight of 4 billion lives rested on what she would say in the next hour. She picked up her tablet and headed toward the council chambers. The station's curved corridors teemed with representatives from over 300 species. Some nodded respectfully to Elena as she passed, while others deliberately avoided eye contact. The inconsistent treatment of humans had been one of the many small indignities that had led to this moment, respected for their adaptability and technological innovations, yet perpetually dismissed as newcomers who couldn't possibly understand the complexities of galactic politics. Near the entrance to the Grand Chamber, Tanix, the Aurelian representative, motioned Elena to a quiet alcove. The bioluminescent patterns on his translucent skin pulsed with anxiety. "Ambassador Reyes, I must speak with you," he said, his voice a melodic whisper. "The rumors, are they true? Is Earth actually withdrawing?" Elena maintained her diplomatic poker face. "What specific rumors have you heard, Representative?" Tanix leaned closer, the lights under his skin dimming. "The Viridians have convinced the core worlds to support their developmental oversight initiative for human colonies. It will pass today. They're establishing a military outpost near your Epsilon Eridani settlement, officially for regional stability." This confirmed what Earth intelligence had already reported. "Thank you for the information, Tanix." The Aurelian placed a gentle tendril on her arm. "The Aurelians have always valued our relationship with humans. Whatever happens today, remember that not all species share the Viridians' views." Elena nodded and entered the immense council chamber. Thousands of seats surrounded a central speaking platform, arranged in concentric rings representing each species' tenure in the galactic community. Humans, having only joined the council 2 centuries ago, were positioned near the outer edge, far from the influential core. High Minister Vex of the Viridian Empire was already speaking, his emerald scales gleaming under the chamber's lights, his image displayed on massive screens throughout the room. "And so we must acknowledge that human expansion requires guidance," Vex was saying, his voice carrying the distinctive harmonics that Viridians use to convey authority. "Their technological development outpaces their cultural maturity. For the safety of the galactic community and stability in the Orion Spur, we propose developmental oversight of all human colonial activities for the next 70 standard cycles." Elena felt her blood pressure rising. 70 years of Viridian supervision would strangle Earth's growth. Every new human colony would require council approval. Every technological advancement would need review before humans could implement it themselves. It was colonialism dressed up as benevolent guidance. The council leader, an ancient Tellurian with crystalline features, gestured toward Earth's position. "The human representative may respond." Elena walked to the central platform, feeling thousands of eyes tracking her movement. The chamber quieted as she faced the assembled representatives of the galaxy's oldest civilizations. For 2 centuries, humans had tried to earn their respect, sharing innovations, respecting their customs, and following their rules. Today, that approach would end. "Honorable representatives," Elena began, her voice steady and clear. "For 200 years, humanity has participated in this council. We have shared our medical advances, our unique approach to quantum communications, and our efficient terraforming techniques. We have respected your borders and adhered to your regulations." She paused, looking directly at the Viridian delegation. "In return, we have been treated as children. When the Viridian military established an armed outpost near our Epsilon Eridani colony, violating 3 separate treaties, our formal protests were dismissed as paranoia from an immature species. When human innovations were incorporated into Council technologies, the contributions were minimized or forgotten entirely." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Alina continued, her voice growing stronger. "Now we face oversight that no other council member would accept. Therefore, by unanimous decision of the United Earth Government, as of this moment, humanity formally withdraws from the Galactic Council." The chamber erupted. Dozens of representatives rose from their seats, shouting questions and objections. Several core world delegates huddled urgently around the Viridian High Minister. Alina raised her voice above the chaos. "All human diplomatic missions will close within 1 standard week. All technology sharing programs will terminate immediately. All human representatives and technical advisors will return to Earth-controlled space. The borders of human territory will be clearly marked and are to be considered sovereign and inviolable." The council leader struck his resonating staff against the floor repeatedly, trying to restore order. Alina stood calmly in the center of the storm, a strange sense of peace washing over her. Humanity had finally stopped trying to please those who would never see them as equals. "This is outrageous," shouted the Viridian High Minister. "The humans cannot simply withdraw. They have obligations, commitments." "All legal obligations have been fulfilled," Alina replied. "All outstanding commitments are hereby formally dissolved under Section 47 of the Council Charter, which allows for withdrawal under conditions of sovereign security threat. The armed Viridian outpost at Epsilon Eridani constitutes such a threat." She looked around the chamber one last time. "For 2 centuries, we sought to be your partners. You chose to make us your subordinates. Now you will learn what it means to lose human innovation and cooperation." With that, Alina stepped down from the platform and walked toward the exit, the chamber still in chaos behind her. She tapped her communication device. "Implement protocol homeward. All human personnel are to return to Earth space immediately." As she stepped into the corridor, her assistant fell into step beside her. "It's done then," Kai said. "It's done," Alina confirmed. "And it's just beginning." The chamber remained in uproar long after Alina Reyes departed. Shouting in hundreds of languages filled the air as representatives argued, threatened, and panicked. Dr. Marcus Chen, Earth's scientific liaison, watched from a small observation room above the chamber, recording everything for posterity. His communication device vibrated. "How bad is it?" asked President Sophia Chen from Earth. "Worse than our simulations predicted," Marcus replied. "The Aurelians and Talesi are demanding emergency sessions. The Viridians are threatening military action. The trade consortium representatives look like they might be having physiological failure episodes." "Good," said the president. "Return home with the others. Phase 2 begins now." Marcus took one final look at the disorder below. The galaxy had treated humans like clever pets for 2 centuries. Now they would learn what happened when those pets walked away. Across council space, human diplomats, scientists, engineers, and advisors received the same encoded message. "Piro tutosio hominiduviorti nacte. Return to Earth space immediately." On the luxury world of Centra Prime, Trey Envoy Jackson watched his team efficiently pack up the embassy. They left behind bewildered alien officials who suddenly realized their economy depended on human technical support staff they had consistently undervalued. "Sir, the Centran Prime Minister is requesting an emergency meeting," said Kim's deputy. "Inform them our communication systems are already being dismantled for transport," Kim answered. "All inquiries should go through the Galactic Council, as Earth no longer maintains direct diplomatic channels." They both knew the Council couldn't answer those questions. For decades, human technicians had quietly become essential to countless worlds while being treated as second-class citizens. That paradox was about to become painfully apparent. On Earth, President Sophia Chen addressed the United Government Assembly. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from every human settlement, colony, and nation. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity," she said, her voice carrying to every corner of the hall. "For too long, we have tried to earn respect from those who see us only as useful tools or potential threats. Our withdrawal from the Council is complete." She gestured to a large display showing markets across the galaxy. Red indicators flashed everywhere. As expected, Council economies are already reacting to our absence. The Interstellar Trade Consortium has lost 30% of its value in just 4 hours. The Viridian military-industrial complex faces production halts within days without human component supplies. A representative from Mars Colony raised her hand. "Madam President, what about retaliation? The Viridians have a substantial fleet." President Chen nodded to her military advisor, who stood up. "Admiral Helena Takahashi, Earth Defense Force." She introduced herself. "We've activated Phase 2 of our contingency plan. All colonial defenses are at full alert, and we've implemented certain technological measures that had been kept in reserve." Murmurs spread through the hall. "For security reasons, we concealed our most advanced developments from the Council," Takahashi continued. "Any aggressive action toward human space will encounter capabilities the Council races don't know we possess." President Chen took back the podium. "For centuries, we've been told we must earn our place among the stars. We've contributed, innovated, and cooperated while being treated as lesser beings. That ends today. The galaxy needs to understand that humans were never the primitive newcomers they assumed we were." She looked out at the assembly, her expression resolute. "They took humanity for granted. Now we withdraw our support, our innovation, and our cooperation. Let them see what the galaxy looks like without us." A silence fell over the hall, then thunderous applause. The galaxy was about to learn a painful lesson about underestimating humanity. The ripple effect. 1 month after Earth's withdrawal, the true implications began to materialize across Council space. On the medical world of Talassi Prime, Dr. Nera Patel watched from her temporary residence as emergency vehicles screamed through the streets, their lights pulsing with increasing urgency as each day passed. Before the withdrawal, Nera had been Chief of Human Technical Services for the Talassi Medical Network, overseeing hundreds of human engineers who maintained the advanced diagnostic and treatment systems that made Talassi the galaxy's premier healthcare destination. Now she was simply a visitor awaiting transport back to Earth. Her door chimed. When she opened it, 3 Talassi health officials stood there, their normally iridescent skin dulled with stress. "Dr. Patel, please," said the tallest one. "Administrator Selk, we need your assistance. The neural imaging network is failing across 17 major hospitals. The quantum calibration algorithms have begun degrading. We have patients, thousands of them, whose treatments cannot continue." Nera's expression remained neutral, though her heart ached. "I warned your government this would happen when I submitted my department's final report. These systems require regular recalibration by trained personnel. Can you fix them?" Selk asked, desperation evident in his harmonizing tones. "Just until we find a permanent solution. We can offer significant compensation." "I'm not authorized to provide technical support," Nera said, repeating the line all remaining humans had been instructed to use. "All assistance requests must go through official channels between your government and Earth." "But there are no official channels," another official exclaimed. "The Council cannot reach Earth's government, and Earth has not responded to direct communications." Nera simply closed the door. Inside, she felt terrible, knowing that patients would suffer. But orders were orders, and the galaxy needed to understand what they had lost when they marginalized humanity. On the Viridian homeworld, High Minister Vex faced growing opposition from his own government. The proud militaristic species had long considered themselves the natural leaders of the galaxy, with humans as useful but ultimately subordinate allies. Now their economy was unraveling with startling speed. "Explain to me," Vex demanded of his economic advisors, "how the departure of one species could cause such catastrophic disruption." The chief economic advisor, Zarn, displayed a complex network diagram on the chamber's main screen. "The humans integrated themselves into key positions throughout our infrastructure, High Minister. Their engineers maintained our quantum communication relays. Their programmers updated our financial systems. Their medical researchers developed crucial algorithms for our genetic enhancement protocols. When they departed, they took not only their expertise, but also the ongoing maintenance our systems required. They designed dependency into their technologies." Vex hissed, his scales darkening with rage. "A deliberate sabotage to use against us." "No, Your Eminence," countered Scientist General Tella, the head of the Viridian Science Directorate. "We reviewed the documentation. Every human-designed system included complete technical specifications and maintenance protocols. We simply didn't bother to learn them. We assumed humans would always be available to maintain what they built." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The Viridians, like most council species, had treated humans as clever tools rather than partners. Now those tools had walked away, and no one had bothered to learn how they worked. "What about the military option?" asked General Krex, commander of the Viridian fleet. "We could force the humans to provide the necessary expertise." "We've been monitoring their defensive preparations," replied Intelligence Director Melner. "Unusual energy signatures have been detected around all human colonies. Their fleet movements suggest they anticipated potential military action. Most concerning." He hesitated. "Speak," ordered Vex. "Our long-range probes near human space have been disappearing. 17 probes sent, none returned. No debris, no distress signals. They simply ceased transmission upon approaching human territory." Vex's inner eyelids flickered rapidly, a sign of deep concern among his species. "Recommendations." "Diplomatic resolution," said Zarn immediately. "Whatever it takes. Our economy cannot withstand this disruption for more than another 60 days. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. On the trading hub of Borvex Station, financial systems began producing increasingly erratic calculations as the human-designed self-correction algorithms fell out of synchronization. The result was catastrophic for markets that depended on split-second trading accuracy. The Arthelian Medical Consortium discovered that their most advanced treatment protocols, the ones that had made them wealthy treating the galaxy's elite, were designed to receive regular updates from Earth-based research centers. Without those updates, the protocols became steadily less effective. Council communication networks, long considered instantaneous and reliable, developed increasing lag times and data corruption as the human technicians who maintained the quantum entanglement nodes departed. What had once been real-time communication across thousands of light-years degraded to delays of seconds, then minutes. The Council, in its desperation, authorized the first direct military action against human territory. A reconnaissance force of 5 Viridian warships was dispatched to the human colony at Ta City, officially to open communications, but carrying a substantial complement of troops. Admiral Raxi, commanding the Viridian force, approached the edge of human-claimed space with confidence. "Humans have always been technologically impressive, but militarily cautious," he told his officers. "A show of force will bring them to negotiations." As the Viridian ships crossed the boundary into human territory, alarms sounded throughout the fleet. Sensors detected unusual energy patterns forming directly ahead. "Analysis," demanded Raxi. "Unknown energy configuration." "Admiral," replied his science officer, "it appears to be some kind of." Before he could finish, every ship in the fleet went dark. Power systems, weapons, engines, all simultaneously deactivated. Emergency lighting flickered on as backup systems engaged, but the ships were dead in space. On each vessel's main display, a message appeared in perfect Viridian script. "Your vessels have been neutralized by automated defense systems. No harm will come to your crews if you do not resist. You will be escorted to a processing station and then returned to Viridian space. Small, unmanned human vessels appeared around each captured ship. No weapons were fired, no threats were made. The Viridian warships were simply taken. When news reached the Viridian homeworld, panic spread through the military leadership. 5 of their most advanced warships captured without firing a shot. Impossible. High Minister Vex received the report with growing dread. How? He asked simply. Intelligence Director Melner's scales had paled to almost white. Unknown technology, Your Eminence. Something far beyond what humans have ever demonstrated to the Council. Our ship's systems were completely neutralized at a distance, without any visible weapon. Vex stared at the report for a long moment. Send a message to the human government. Formal request for diplomatic contact. We are willing to discuss new terms. Meanwhile on Earth, in the Strategic Command Center beneath Geneva, Admiral Helena Takahashi reported to President Chen on the Viridian incursion. The SHIELD network performed flawlessly, Madam President. All 5 Viridian warships captured intact with all crew unharmed. President Chen studied the tactical display showing the captured vessels. What did they see before we neutralized them? Just enough. Admiral Takahashi replied with a tight smile. They saw our defensive capabilities are generations ahead of what they believed possible, but not how the technology actually works. The perfect deterrent. And the crews. Being processed now. We're allowing them to see selected facilities. Nothing sensitive, but enough to make an impression. They'll be returned to Viridian space within 72 hours. President Chen nodded. Send footage of the captured ships to all major council worlds. Include a message. Earth has always believed in peace. Recent events have justified our caution in withholding certain technologies. Any further military actions against human territory will be met with similar responses. She paused, then added, make sure the Viridian crews see enough of our technology to spread the word when they return home. The galaxy needs to understand that humans were never the primitive newcomers they thought we were. In a laboratory complex in the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Sophia Rice stood before a holographic display showing a new form of quantum communication network. Her team had been developing it for decades but had never shared it with the Council. The final tests are complete, she told the gathered leaders. This system is 500% faster than anything the Council races possess, and it cannot be monitored or intercepted by any technology currently known to exist in Council space. How soon can we implement it across human territory? Asked Defense Minister Okafor. 3 months for full coverage, Dr. Rice replied. We already have the manufacturing capacity since we never shared the previous generation with the Council either. President Chen smiled. Excellent. Begin immediately. And what about the medical technology Dr. Chen's team has been developing? The reconfigurable Manite medical treatment system is ready for full deployment, Dr. Chen reported. It can adapt to virtually any biological system, not just human. It represents a quantum leap beyond anything available in Council space. Deploy it to all human colonies and settlements, ordered the President. Priority to our outer worlds. 2 months after Earth's withdrawal, an emergency council meeting was called. Less than 60% of member species were represented. Many were dealing with increasing infrastructure failures or had already begun seeking direct relations with Earth outside Council protocols. The Central Chamber, once a showcase of galactic unity, now felt hollow and diminished. The Council leader, the ancient Tellurian, called the meeting to order. This Council faces unprecedented challenges, he began, his crystalline features reflecting the chamber's lights. The human withdrawal has caused disruptions beyond anything we anticipated. Multiple critical systems across Council space are failing. Economic projections show catastrophic outcomes within the next standard year if solutions are not found. Ambassador Salax of the Aurelians, longtime allies of humans, stood to speak. The Aurelian Concordat can no longer abide by Council directives regarding Earth. The medical crisis on our worlds has reached unmanageable levels. We have lost thousands of lives because systems designed and maintained by humans are failing. We intend to establish direct diplomatic relations with Earth immediately. High Minister Vex, his scales dulled with stress, rose from his seat. The humans engineered this crisis. They built dependency into their technologies to use against us. No, countered Elder Mock of the Telesi. They shared their advances openly. We chose to use their technology without learning how it worked. That was our mistake, not their trap. The chamber erupted into arguments. More than 24 civilizations had already broken from council unity, establishing direct relations with humans through the new diplomatic station at Luna. Now the Aurelians, one of the founding species of the council, were doing the same. In the observation gallery, representatives from smaller, less powerful species watched with growing concern. Many had relied on council protection and infrastructure. With both crumbling, they faced uncertain futures. "What do we do?" asked the Yindari representative, from a species that had joined the council only 50 years ago. The Zoral delegate, whose people had suffered from Viridian expansion before humans arrived on the galactic scene, gave what passed for a smile among her kind. "We adapt. And perhaps we learn something important about respect." Back on Earth, President Chen reviewed reports of the council meeting with her advisors. The fragmentation was proceeding faster than even their most optimistic projections. "The Viridians have formally requested diplomatic contact," said Foreign Minister Rodriguez. "So have 17 other major species and 38 minor ones. The council is fracturing. And our terms remain the same," President Chen replied firmly. "We will engage only with those who recognize human sovereignty and equality. No oversight, no restrictions beyond mutual defense agreements. The galaxy is realigning faster than we anticipated," noted Strategic Advisor Lai. "We should consider accelerating Phase 3. President Chen nodded slowly. "Agreed. It's time the galaxy understood who we really are, and what we can truly offer as partners rather than subordinates." In space, at the edge of the Sol system, Earth's new diplomatic station was nearing completion. Unlike the utilitarian council facilities, this gleaming structure incorporated the best of human design and technology, a physical manifestation of humanity's true capabilities, finally unleashed. The first diplomatic delegations would arrive within weeks. A new era of galactic relations was beginning, with humanity no longer seeking approval, but setting the terms. The galaxy was learning, painfully but effectively, what happens when you underestimate humans. And this lesson was only beginning. Desperate measures. 3 months after Earth's withdrawal, the Galactic Council had lost all pretense of unity. The Grand Chamber, once filled with representatives from hundreds of species, now hosted barely 90 delegates. The remaining council members glared at each other with suspicion and resentment as their once stable galaxy continued to unravel. Ambassador Krell of the Mithrani Federation addressed the diminished assembly, her translucent appendages gesturing emphatically. "The Mithrani Federation can no longer adhere to council directives regarding non-engagement with Earth. Our primary communication network has degraded by 73%. Medical services on 6 of our colony worlds have collapsed entirely. We have formally requested diplomatic relations with humanity." High Minister Vex of the Viridians slammed his clawed hand on the table. "Traitors, you undermine the Council's authority with these unilateral actions." "What authority remains to undermine?" countered Ambassador Krell. "Half the Council has already established direct relations with humans. Meanwhile, your military provocations against Earth have only revealed how far advanced human technology truly is." The Council leader, the ancient Tellurian, raised his crystalline hands for silence. "This discord serves no one. We must find a unified approach to the human situation." "There can be no unified approach when the Viridian Empire still refuses to acknowledge the reality before us," said Elder Mock of the Telesi. "Humans were never the junior partners we treated them as. Our arrogance has cost us dearly." In the Luna diplomatic station, orbiting Earth's moon, Ambassador Elena Reyes welcomed the latest delegation to seek direct relations with humanity. The Zinthar Collective, a grouping of 15 previously minor species, had arrived in a convoy of ships that showed visible signs of deteriorating maintenance. Welcome to Luna Station, the Luna greeted the Zinthar representative, a multi-limbed being whose environment suit hummed with the atmospheric adjustments necessary for their comfort. Earth is pleased to open direct diplomatic channels with the Zinthar Collective. We are grateful for the opportunity. Ambassador Reyes, replied Representative Thos, their voice processed through translation devices. The collective finds itself in an increasingly difficult position as council infrastructure fails. Our species were always treated as second-tier members, but at least the systems functioned. Now, I understand, Elena said with genuine sympathy. Many of the smaller species have been caught in the middle of a conflict not of their making. Earth is prepared to offer technical assistance to restore critical infrastructure on Zinthar worlds, provided we can agree on terms that respect mutual sovereignty. Thos's environmental suit released a puff of vapor, the equivalent of a sigh of relief in their species. The terms your government has proposed are more than fair, more than we ever received from the Council, in truth. In a briefing room deeper within Luna Station, Dr. Marcus Chen updated representatives from 23 former Council species on the medical technology Earth was now willing to share. The adaptive nanite medical system can be calibrated for any known biology, he explained, displaying holographic representations of the technology. It's at least 3 generations beyond anything previously made available to Council space and can be manufactured using resources common throughout the galaxy. The gathered representatives murmured in amazement. The Aurelian medical director leaned forward. This technology could save billions of lives across our worlds. Why was this never shared with the Council? Marcus's expression remained neutral. Previous Council policies classified such technology as potentially destabilizing and subject to oversight restrictions. Under those conditions, Earth chose to continue development privately. There's more, isn't there? Asked the Talasi representative. More technologies Earth kept to itself. Yes, Marcus confirmed simply. Much more. On the edge of human space, Admiral Kasemi of the Earth Defense Fleet monitored an unusual situation developing near the Ta City colony. Long-range sensors had detected a convoy of non-military vessels approaching from deep within Council space. They weren't responding to standard identification protocols, but neither were they displaying any hostile indicators. Classification, she asked her. Sensor officer. Mixed civilian craft, Admiral. Mostly transport and passenger vessels. 47 ships in total, representing at least 12 different species. No weapons signatures detected. Kasemi frowned. Intentions. Her communications officer looked up from his station, surprised. They're broadcasting on all frequencies in multiple languages. It appears to be refugees, Admiral. They're requesting asylum in human space. The bridge fell silent. This was unprecedented. Refugees fleeing Council space for human protection. Put it on screen, ordered Kasemi. The main display showed a haggard-looking Zoral, a furry, normally vibrant species now looking thin and stressed. To any human authority, we seek refuge. The Council is fracturing. The Viridian Empire has begun protective occupation of worlds that have attempted to establish independent relations with Earth. Smaller species without defensive capabilities are being absorbed. Please, we have nowhere else to go. Admiral Kasemi immediately contacted Earth Command. Within 30 minutes, she had her orders. Escort the refugee convoy to Ta City, provide humanitarian assistance, and begin processing asylum claims. As the first refugees landed on the human colony world, they looked around in wonder. The technology visibly deployed was generations beyond what humans had ever revealed to the Council. Automated systems tended to their medical needs. Food synthesizers produced nutrition perfectly calibrated to each species' biology. Temporary housing with environmental controls adapted to their physiological requirements appeared almost overnight. "Why?" asked an elderly Picari to the human medical officer treating his radiation exposure. "Why help us when the Council treated humans as lesser beings for so long?" Dr. Sarah Kim smiled gently as she adjusted the treatment parameters. "Because that's not who we are. We withdrew from a political body that wouldn't respect us, not from our commitment to sentient life." Word of the refugee situation spread quickly throughout Council space. The image of former Council species seeking protection from humans sent shockwaves through the remaining Council unity. More ships began appearing at the edges of human territory, some carrying refugees, others diplomatic envoys from worlds that had previously remained loyal to the Council. On the Viridian homeworld, High Minister Vex faced a military council in crisis. The Empire's attempt to maintain control through protective occupations was stretching their forces thin, and their economy continued to deteriorate as systems failed across their territory. "The humans are making us look weak," Vex hissed, his scales dark with rage. "They shelter those who flee our protection and flaunt advanced technology they concealed from the Council. This cannot stand." General Krex, commander of the Viridian fleet, shifted uncomfortably. "Your Eminence, our initial military probe was neutralized without a single shot fired. Our intelligence suggests human defensive capabilities far exceed our previous assessments. Then we must strike with overwhelming force," Vex declared. "Prepare the Grand Fleet. We will make an example of the human colony at Proxima Centauri." Intelligence Director Melner's scales paled. "Your Eminence, I must strongly advise against this course of action. Our analysis of the technology displayed during the refugee situation suggests humans possess capabilities that cold." "Enough." Vex silenced him. "The humans have built their reputation on deception. They appear strong because we have not yet tested their true measure. Prepare the fleet." 4 days later, the Viridian Grand Fleet, 67 warships, the pride of their military, approached the Proxima Centauri system. General Krex commanded from the flagship Eternal Dominance, a dreadnought nearly 5 kilometers long, bristling with the most advanced weapons in the Viridian arsenal. "No sign of human defensive response," General reported his tactical officer. "Their orbital installations appear minimal." Krex felt uneasy. The humans had demonstrated unexpected capabilities before. This apparent vulnerability seemed wrong. "Maintain alert status. Proceed with caution," he ordered. As the fleet crossed the system boundary, sensors detected unusual energy readings, similar to those reported by the reconnaissance force that had disappeared. "Evasive action," Krex ordered immediately. "Full shields." Before the fleet could respond, a brilliant blue wave of energy expanded from seemingly nowhere, washing over the Viridian vessels. Ship after ship went dark, power systems failing simultaneously. On the Eternal Dominance, Krex watched in horror as every system on his mighty flagship shut down, leaving only emergency lighting. A calm human voice spoke over the emergency channels in perfect Viridian. "Viridian vessels, you have entered sovereign human territory with hostile intent. Your ships have been